everyone, welcome back to my kitchen and to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Kane and I post a new recipe every single Wednesday, both on my blog and on my channel. So please follow so that you get a new recipe every single Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure that's something exciting to be looking forward to. So today we have a bit of a change in the setup because we're going to be baking a cake, and we're going to be baking my all-time favorite cake, which is a simple vanilla sponge cake, and we're also going to be using raspberry buttercream for the top. So today's intro is going to be a little bit longer than usual, so please bear with me. I'm very excited about a few things today. First of all, my blog has been nominated for the Best Food Blog Award in the Bake Awards 2019. So that's something I'm really proud about, and I feel very honored by the nomination. And I would kindly request you guys to go to the link in my description box and please vote for me. I'm in the food blog category number D, so the fourth one, canonskitchenaffair.com. I would really appreciate a vote from all of you guys to bring this award home. Number two, I am very excited because as you watch this, tomorrow is actually my birthday, and that's why we are baking. Every year I usually complain and say, why can somebody bake for me this year? But I always end up here baking, so I was like, why not make this into a recipe and show you guys how I usually go about baking. And also this would be a part 2 to my very first video in the YouTube sphere, where I did a baking 101 video where I talked about the essentials you need to start baking for a beginner baker or someone who wants to up their baking game. And I will also link that video down below so that if you need any tips or what you need to begin baking, if you're wondering where do I even start, that video will be a great place to start, because I share with you guys just the simple essentials of what you need when you're starting to bake or when you want to learn more about baking. Number 3, I am very excited that we hit 1,000 subbies. We actually hit it over the weekend, and honestly I am so surprised, but I am very excited because I expected that we would get here maybe further down the line, probably even next year, but here we are. 1,000 of you came to my channel, 1,000 plus of you came to my channel, saw my content and believed in me. It means a lot to me, so thank you for being here. For those who are subscribed, and those who are not, please join the others in the family. And lastly, I am excited because we are baking. Baking is actually my first love. That's how I came into this food sphere, and I think I'm going to talk about baking as we prepare the baking pans, so that this intro isn't 5 million hours and all of you run away. So let's just get into the ingredients, and then we'll get into the baking, and then I'll see you as we bake. Here are our ingredients, and I'm going to divide the ingredients into 2 parts, the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. For the wet ingredients, from here we have the milk. This is about 1/3 of a cup. We have 1/2 cup of sugar. We have 6 eggs because I'm making a vanilla sponge cake, and I'm using 6 eggs instead of, normally other cakes would use around 2 or 3 eggs, but I'm using 6 because I like the sponginess that comes with the eggs. I also have some vanilla essence and 1/2 cup of margarine. If you don't have margarine, you could always use butter. And for the dry ingredients, we're going to be using 1.5 cups of flour and 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder. So for the ratios of baking powder, it's usually 1:1. So 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm just going to mix the baking powder into the all-purpose flour, but before we put it into the wet ingredients, of course we're going to sieve this because it's going to make the sponge cake even fluffier. So the eggs are the ones that makes the cake spongy, and I'm using my mixer today. As I had mentioned in that 101 video, if you don't have a mixer, you could always use a whisk or a fork. It's going to take a bit longer, but it's still going to work. So the plan here is we are going to mix this until it becomes really light and fluffy. Normally the eggs are a bit yellowish, as you can see here, but the plan is to make them fluffy and almost white. And also they're going to triple in size, so it's going to almost fill this whole bowl. As you can see, it's almost tripled in size, yeah? There is so much more egg here than there was before. So all this air that has been trapped into the eggs is what is going to make the cake spongy. So this is about 1/2 cup of margarine that I'm going to throw in. This is the kind of cup that I always talk about when I'm talking about measuring something. Get these cups. This is not a measuring cup, this is a tea cup. And you know, cups are different sizes. That's why it's always advisable to get these cups. I got mine from Carrefour. They were about, I think, either 150 or 200 shillings, and I love these ones because they come with a tablespoon attached. So these are the tablespoons I usually use to do measurements rather than the other tablespoon that we eat with my sugar. Vanilla essence. If you have vanilla extract, that's much better, but for now I only have vanilla essence. So I've mixed those just slightly in, and at this point I'm going to give up my hand mixer for a spatula. And this is because we are moving on to the dry ingredients. You need to retain, especially in a sponge cake, the air that has been trapped by the eggs. And if you continue using a whisk, we are going now to let out that air. So now we are going to use this spatula just to fold in the flour so that we still retain all the sponginess and all the air bubbles that have been trapped. If you don't have a spatula, you could always use a mwiko, and let's move on to the dry ingredients. Hi, this is future me editing, and unfortunately I just realized that I lost 2 clips, I don't know how, of me preparing the baking pans and putting them into the oven. And I'm not going to redo this whole video because of that, because I have mentioned it in the baking 101 video, which I will leave in my description box. You can go watch that and it gives all the information. But all I did was to grease the pans with Blue Band or margarine, and then I put parchment paper, put in the butter, and then I covered with foil, baked at 180 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. So that's what I basically did, and let's get back into the video. So we are finally at my favorite part of baking any cake, which is the frosting, and today I'm going to be making a raspberry buttercream. So here I have pure unsalted butter, not margarine, butter, and it's unsalted, and total is about 300 grams. I also have 1 cup of icing sugar. These are raspberries that I have mixed with 1 squeezed lemon and microwaved so that I can get such a paste. If you don't have a microwave, you could always just put them in a sufuria and let them boil for a few minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes, until they crush up into such a paste, and then you let it cool. I have about less than 1/3 cup of milk, the juice of half a lemon. Before we start, let me mention something about the butter. When you're making a buttercream, allow your butter to get to room temperature before you make the buttercream. Otherwise, your buttercream might break and not become as smooth. So the best thing is usually to leave it out overnight if you're using in the morning, or like in my case, I left it out at 6 and now it's 4. A little bit of vanilla essence, just going to beat this all together until it's smooth and fluffy and it becomes light and I've been whipping this for 2-3 minutes, not too long, and I personally love the consistency going on right now. It's smooth, it's creamy. Oh my goodness, guys, it's not too sweet. There's some seeds of the raspberries going on. You feel the tartness of the lemon, the tartness of the raspberries, a bit of the vanilla coming through. You guys, this buttercream is amazing. This is for making sure the cake doesn't move too much when you're frosting, and just place this here. The reason I like to do 2 layers is because I don't have to worry about cutting it, but if you do 1 whole layer, you could always cut it. And then removing the excess, adding where I need more, removing the excess, adding where I need more. And as I had mentioned, I'm doing a semi-naked cake, so I don't really need it to be all covered. I just need it to be a bit touched by the cream. I love naked cakes. I think they're rustic, they're pretty. If I was doing a fully frosted cake, I would need to put this in the fridge to give it a crumb coat. A crumb coat is where you let this set so that you can come with the second layer, and the second layer doesn't bother you with all the crumbs. So you see, that would be a lot of work. So this one is just an easier, still pretty way of doing a cake. I have my piping bag, I have my coupler, and I have my piping tip. So all these things from the same baking shops that I have mentioned before, and even in the other videos. Just ask for a coupler and for a piping bag and for a baking tip, and that's what I'm going to use to just pipe a little bit on the top, nothing too complicated. So I ended up eating too much of the buttercream and it only filled half, which is a look I like instead of doing the whole cake. And I just want to finish this off with a bit of fresh raspberries just around it, just to leaven it up. I hope at least you learned something on this video, or at least it ignited a fire for you to learn how to bake and how to frost. And if there was anything that wasn't clear in the video, you could always ask me on my social media in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching and for getting here. This is my little way to celebrate my birthday with you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share with someone who you know loves cake, would like to learn how to bake, or is already baking and would like to see this recipe. Have a nice week. Until next week, bye.